They say a horse's spirit is broken by a whip, but that's a lie. A spirit is broken by silence. By the days, no one comes to the gate, the nights the trough stays dry, and the moment a creature built for the open wind forgets how to take a step.
My name is Petal Sotokanook. I was born in the British West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and moved to Atlanta, Georgia after high school.
My name is Gwyneth Hallett. I am from Lilburn, Georgia.
My name is Samaya Butler. I am from Conyers, Georgia.
Hi, my name is Axel Sims.
Oh, since I was a little girl, all little girls love horses, so my sister and I, had all the horsey books and stuff.
I have always been interested in horses from when I was a kid. I grew up on a farm and our neighbors had horses, and I wasn't old enough to like ride them or really, but we would like when they were out of town, we would take care of them, and that's where my interest really started.
I would say I want to say 16, 17 years old when I really started getting interested in horses. So I did some research and I came across the Bridge Between Horses, and I went on their website. I really liked their mission and what they stood for, working with rescue horses. After my first day here, I decided I really like working. I really like working here, so I came more and more. So now I'm a regular volunteer.
So I've always really liked horses. When I was a kid, I would go to summer camps, and sometimes I'd get to like ride horses once or twice. So I did a trail ride or two when I was a kid, but I always really liked them.
Um, some people think I'm bonkers. Um, but a lot of people don't really understand, but they accept what it is that I do. And I let everybody know that it wasn't a choice. It just happened and the mission evolved. And I feel like God always puts you where he wants you to be. Through it, I've done so many things to help so many people. And so, it's my mission. But, a lot of people do think I'm bonkers because it's a lot of work. There's been a lot of those moments. There's a moment happening right now, not far from here. Um, there's just been a lot of those moments. I would say the most dramatic was a horse that we had, and this was I was already into doing what I'm doing, but I think the most dramatic was there was a horse. Her name was Moon. She was an Arabian. She was an Arabian. She was in horrible, horrible condition, and we asked the owner if we could have her. I can't remember if he made us pay for her. She was in terrible condition. When we got her here, she was just one of the worst. When we got her here, she jumped on the trailer to come, and then we needed to take her to the vet. and she didn't want to jump back on the trailer, and it was almost like she didn't want to leave. So that was one where we said, okay, because a lot of them have come in different stages of neglect. Some of them, looked perfectly fine, but they weren't handled because they were abused. They couldn't be handled. So, but Moon was one that was physically, visibly in trouble. Kind of like the last 5 that we took in, 4 that we took in. I think the biggest thing that you give up when you run an organization like this, when I first started, was not being able to go on vacations and stuff. Now we have built a great organization with a lot of people because we've always had volunteers. Now we've built a coalition of adults that want to be a part of this, and it makes it a lot easier for me to say, okay, like last year I went to Honduras on a mission trip with my church, but that was about the hardest thing because the work it wasn't work to me. Taking care of them, coming out here, feeding, grooming, cleaning, it's just part of who I am. It's part of what I do.
Working with horses is actually a lot of work. But I don't know, I like the challenge. I've always liked challenges growing up. So working with horses, it feeds into my interest in wanting to be challenged because I always want to be challenged, and I get a chance to do that here.
Their eyes are wide because it's a new place, and then they see the herd. Some of them are calm, some of them not so calm because it's a different environment. So we take our cues from how they react. We never just introduce a new horse right into the herd. Usually they're quarantined away from everybody else for a good 30 days. Usually we even quarantine them away from the property before we bring them in. But they just look around, get off, want to eat grass. Some have a real fear in their eyes. And, you have to talk to them and tell them, hey, this is a safe place. You're going to be great. And, we'll take them in and give them hay or treats or something. I remember Frost, he didn't even know what a treat was when he first came. He did not. It was just the strangest thing. But it's, almost kind of like bringing a newborn baby home. It's hard. It's hard because right now we're at capacity and I get phone calls all the time. But what I do try to do is I try to refer those people to somebody else that I know that has more room, more more acreage like we'd like to have. Um, that's I don't ever just say no. I say, let me see if I can help you. And it's a stressor on the wallet because when you take in one like that, it's a different kind of feed. The feed is more expensive, different kind of hay, to get them where they need to be so they can eat what everybody else is eating. So it is very tasking. When people come by and say, oh, they look beautiful, they have no idea what they looked like before and what it took to get them to that point.
When I first came out here, one of the biggest culture shocks from like the comparison of Hollywood TV to actual working with the horses is they are not as well behaved as they are in TV. They will throw their head up, they will get angry at literally anything for no good reason. But the reason I chose to come back is because even though it was like difficult work and not necessarily fun all the time, it was also really rewarding to know that I was helping horses who, if I wasn't helping, they might not have a place to stay or they might not have enough people to take care of them. And it was also really rewarding because I got to take lessons for coming back. I got to take free lessons, and it was really nice considering how expensive some lessons can be.
It takes time. It takes a lot of time, especially for ones like Frost. When I first approached that horse, and we went to pick him up, the lady told me that you couldn't get your hands on him. He was that afraid. So I worked with him while we were there. Just went up to him and just stood. If he walked one way, I'd walk with him. And I was able to reach out and get a hold of him. But it's when the trust is broken like that because they've been abused, it's like a child.
Like a huge, like 700-pound animal trust is very rewarding, and it feels amazing to know that I can get on one of these horses and I can take it down the road towards the school, and even if it freaks out a little bit, I can keep it under control, and that just feels like you're on top of the world, because it feels like so amazing to know that you can control this. And it's not even really about control, it's that the horse understands you and you understand the horse. In the riding, in grooming, and walking it around, it's just really nice to feel that way.
In a way, I feel kind of honored in a way when a horse walks up to me and is calm enough to where they may let me touch their muzzle, or they may let me pet them or groom them.
They're right outside. So I just know when, like my horse Chance that passed away, I was in the hospital and I was on bed rest, and I snuck out of the hospital and went to the barn to just hug on my horse. They're right outside my window. They just bring a peace and a calm that few people can understand. I have a sign that says, I think it says, my best friend is my horse or something. I have signs a lot of people do around their barn, and you can always come out here and just, if you're feeling down, grab a horse, hug a horse. They'll hug back. Horses are used for therapy because they can pick up on emotion.
Some people say that it's almost like they can read minds, and they definitely read emotion, and they do mirror that back to you. However you're feeling, if you're really happy, if you're anxious, if you're excited, it's like the horse will sometimes know before you do. And I think when I first started working with the horses, that was kind of reflected back to me in nervousness, in hesitation. I wasn't really feeling very sure of myself. And if you're eyeing the horse or you're nervous about the horse kind of eyes you back. And, you can kind of feel that energy.
Probably my anxiety, because I grew up and I have had and have huge anxiety, whether it be around people or animals or anything. But when I'm riding, it really you really need to be as calm as you can be, because the horses, they can feel your breathing when you're breathing heavily because you're scared, or they can feel how fast your heart is beating. And it kind of just showed me, like, if I can be in this situation on a huge a huge creature that could kill me if it wanted to, and I can stay calm on this, then I can stay calm in some other situation.
I don't feed the horses because they're depending on me. I know that they are depending on me. So it's either got to feed the horses, got to go buy hay, got to go. Those are the thoughts. It's an expensive commitment, but if you're all in, it's worth it 100%. I just want to do more things like we're doing, like the partnership with the Women's Crisis Center. I want to be able to do stuff with veterans, going to schools and educating people. You know, I want to make this a place where people can come. We used to have a man that used to come and sit at the fence. He had Alzheimer's. His nurse used to bring him. He'd just sit at the fence once a week, just sit at the fence and look at the horses. You know, this here is not about me. It's about them and what they can do. Our whole thing is paying it forward. You know, using these horses, rehabilitating them, and using them to pay it forward. I say we're a faith-based organization. You know, it's about being able to speak to people, minister to people. This is about ministering to people, meeting people where they are, whether, you know, you're a woman that was in an abusive situation, a veteran with PSD. This is about meeting people where they are and ministering to people. Through the horses, we minister to people. That's what this is about.
When I'm driving away from the ranch after volunteering for a shift, I would say my headspace feels a lot more expansive. It's like doing this kind of work and a lot of hard work does help to kind of clear the mind. It is a lot of work, but it's also very rewarding. I usually want to come back every time I leave because I'm like, wow, I want to see the horses again.
So when I do leave, I leave with a much better mindset. I feel a lot calmer. I feel a lot more, I would say, not as grouchy. I just feel overall calmer when I leave.
Most of the time, I feel very much more at peace compared to when would be like out at the store or literally doing anything else, because I know that I helped animals that don't have a voice, and so they can't ask for help unless you're really looking for it. And it's honestly really nice because I got to get down into the dirt and grime, and it feels nice to be able to do that and kind of ground yourself. So after it, I feel very grounded.
I definitely love all the horses. Like, I think they're all really sweet. They're just kind animals. They all absolutely have a personality. When it comes to horses and their stories, there's also Frost, who was very distrustful when he first came here because he'd been through some really horrible experiences. And horses like that, you learn to give them their space, and you learn that they can be more reactive, but they have a reason to. So, I'm always understanding when it comes to that, and I feel like watching Frost's growth, like watching him just kind of learn to trust again and to let those guards down has also been very healing to me.
The one horse I have a favorite, because like their personality or whatever fits me most is definitely Snickers. He's definitely he's kind of a wild card because he can be very sweet and he can also be very impatient and angry and all of the above. But like at the same time, I've struggled with feelings like those in the past where I was like really happy one moment and then I was really upset the next, or I was just like kind of all over the place. And I really connect with Snickers in that way. And also when he is a sweet boy, he's so kind and gentle, and he wouldn't hurt a fly in the world if he wasn't angry. And I really just connect with him on that emotional level.
Grateful.
Fun.
Grounded.
The horse built the world we live in today. Now, it is our turn to build a safer world for them. Whether through adoption, donation, or simply raising your voice to protect them from slaughter, your actions matter. They've carried us for centuries. It's time we carry them. Please visit our website to learn more and help us honor the bond that has defined our history.